Hey everybody, welcome to Facebook Live Ask Admissions. My name is Jordan Stevenson, I'm the Director of Student Recruitment. Have a little different setup here today than usual, so we're definitely practicing our social distancing. My wingspan is well over 6 feet, and I've cleared this space. We also measured with actual measuring tape, and we have gotten nowhere near each other this entire time. But we are excited to be with you today. I have two special guests with me, and we're going to tell you all about Kennesaw State and give you this platform to ask us anything you want to know about Kennesaw State, admissions, next steps, all these things. So I'm going to let my special guests introduce themselves, and then I'm going to give you some news from the nest.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Rachel Ray. I'm a senior here. I'm a public relations major with a minor in political science. I'm also a tour guide, so I'm giving campus tours during school time. I'm also a social media marketing intern with Enrollment Services, so I do a lot of work with behind the scenes, strategic communication and social media, so I've had a lot of time in my experience here.
All right. Hi everyone, my name is Kara Stanley. I'm a junior software engineering major with a computer science minor. I started dual enrolling here, so I've been around for a little bit. I have taken classes on both campuses. I'm also a tour guide for both campuses, so you may have seen me around. Then I'm also in our Marching Owls Marching Band, as well as our Honors College and our President's Emerging Global Scholars Program.
We've got some awesome students here today, super involved, lots of different activities. So if one of those things that they said connects with you, feel free to ask about it. If you want to know about other things that they've done while here at KSU, ask about those things. We've got some really cool props that they've brought with them, some tools that they've used in their time here in the Marching Owls. So really cool stuff. I always love this. Thanks, Rachel, for bringing this.
Of course.
Love the bass drum head, such a cool logo. And y'all are fantastic in the Marching Owls. I absolutely love getting to hear y'all and see y'all. So a little bit of news from the nest. Things have been wild, right? Absolutely wild. In this current age of COVID-19, coronavirus. So we're doing a lot of things in admissions for Kennesaw State to help you stay connected to us, to give you these avenues to still ask questions that you need to ask so that you're comfortable with Kennesaw State, so that you find out and ultimately feel good with, is Kennesaw State the right fit for you? So we're going to have lots of things like this, like Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives. We've filmed a lot of interviews and some of our traditional campus tour information sessions for you so that you can actually pop onto our website, which is admissions.kennesaw.edu, or our visit website, visit.kennesaw.edu. And by the way, we'll have all these links out there for you. But we want to give you the ability to continue to learn about Kennesaw State, learn about the college going process, how do you get here, and then like these lovely ladies are going to tell you all about what are the awesome things you should be doing while you're in college, and particularly here at Kennesaw State. I've got a couple of news from the nest things that I really want to hammer home for you, okay? So if you're a first-year student and you're out there, you're in high school, still trying to figure out what's going on, and I do not blame you. Absolutely, as we just heard from the governor yesterday, you will not be going, if you're in the state of Georgia, not be going back physically to school throughout the rest of the semester. So still trying to get into this new normal of what it is to do school virtually or school online. And I wish you the absolute best for that. I'm dealing with it with a 7-year-old at home. But we want you to know that we've done all that we can do to remove barriers and make KSU accessible for you. So if you're out there and you're still trying to figure out, is KSU the right place for you? If you apply now or you've already applied and you haven't completed your application and you're a first-year student, all we need from you is your high school transcript. And then if you have any dual enrollment credit that you've completed, we need that transcript. But we're no longer looking at SAT or ACT scores for summer 2020 or fall 2020. For first-year students, that would be for, freshmen and transfer freshmen. So students that have yet to graduate from high school or recently graduated but haven't completed 30 transferable credit hours from college. So those are our first year students. And then also we're not looking for SAT or ACT scores for fall 2020 for dual enrollment students. So if you're a dual enrollment student, matter of fact, our deadline to apply for dual enrollment for fall 2020 is coming up April the 3rd. So that's What's today? Thursday the 2nd? That's tomorrow. So get on it. It's not a bad application process, whether you're applying as a dual enrollment student or transfer student or first-year student. Should take you probably 30 minutes to fill out our application online, and should be very straightforward for you. Also want you to know we're still working in admissions, so all of our admissions counselors, assistant directors, associate directors, me, we are accessible via email. We have counselors that are doing one-on-one video calls with prospective students, and they're working through all sorts of different avenues to connect with you and make sure you're still getting the answers to your questions. And then you'll see a lot of the people that I get to work with on things like Instagram Live, and some will be coming here on Facebook Live when we're doing that too. So just pay attention and watch out for those things. Another thing I want to point out is our deadlines. We're going to post the deadline website. It's really easy for admissions. If you just go to admissions.kennesaw.edu, on the left-hand side of the screen, it says admissions deadline, so that's where you want to click. But we want you to be aware of all the different deadlines that we have coming up so that you can make sure you get in for summer if that's the term that you're wanting to come for, or fall if that's the term that you're wanting to come for. So yeah, let's ask these wonderful people some questions, and then I know you're going to be hitting us up with some questions as well. But I think first and foremost, what I want to know, and I think what they want to know, is why did you pick Kennesaw State for your college experience?
Sure. So I picked Kennesaw. So I went to high school in Virginia, but I'm a military kid, so I've lived all over the country. My family, my parents lived in Georgia, so having the opportunity to get the Zell Miller Scholarship and in-state tuition, that's always a plus. That was a big draw. And then I didn't know exactly what I wanted to major in. So what was cool about Kennesaw was it had a lot of different options. So I knew that if I had changed my mind or wanted to explore different options, which I did, Kennesaw had a lot of different things that I could do. So, yes.
All right, so I started dual enrolling here on this campus, on the Kennesaw campus, back in 2016. So I did that for 2 years. I was full-time dual enrolling for one, then part-time for the second. Then I applied to some other places, but they didn't have that kind of homey feel that I loved here at Kennesaw. So I decided to stay here. I actually went to the Marietta campus. I came in as a mechanical engineering major, decided that was not my scene. So I actually found that I loved programming, so I did change my major to software engineering, and I'm loving it now. But I've definitely loved these opportunities that I've been given here.
That's awesome. Thank you. And so just so the people out there know, here in Facebook land, we have a software engineering expert and a public relations expert, and then me. So if you have questions particularly about these degree programs, or even what I think is great, the difference between being a student on the Kennesaw campus and the Marietta campus, and of course how y'all connect through marching owls and being tour guides and all those kinds of things. Y'all are best friends anyways. But I think that's something we'll want to talk about today here on Facebook Live too. But I think we already have a question.
We do. Kara, this is for you.
Ooh.
If you will expand a little more about your experience living on the Marietta campus and being an engineering major, and how you split your time between both campuses.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
So because I dual enrolled for 2 years, I ended up getting a lot of my prereqs and general education classes done before I started with those engineering classes. So I did take a lot of my prereqs on the Kennesaw campus just because it's closer to where I live. And then once I got to Marietta, I did live on the Marietta campus this year and last year. Loved it, fantastic. I loved waking up at 9 for my 9:30 class. It was pretty great. But definitely just really liked how there is definitely a difference between the campuses, but they're both fantastic. So we do have a big owl bus that goes between the campuses. So I don't like driving, so I always took the bus. The bus also has Wi-Fi, so watch Netflix. Should have done my homework, but that's okay. But so definitely you're able to get the feel of both campuses. You are able to take classes on either campus, depending on what fits best with your schedule. So there's definitely lots of opportunities to get the feel of everything.
That's awesome. So how have you been able to manage your time? I think the time management thing is a great thing to talk about with prospective students, especially the difference between high school and then college, and then also because now you're involved in, I would argue, probably so many more things that are time intensive versus high school. So how do you manage your time in college?
Sure. So my biggest advice is get a planner. Get a planner. Write everything down that you have to do, write down your homework, but more importantly, write down where you need to be. That's really what I need to do. Is this is my time where I need to be in class. This is the time where I need to be sitting and focusing on homework. This is when I have band practice. This is when I have my internship. And even if you know all those things in your head, just taking the time to sit down and looking at everything you have to accomplish makes it that much easier to get done. Also check your email. There's a lot of communication that comes through email. So in high school, a lot of times students aren't used to checking at least their school email. That's really important to do here, because if there's ever a meeting scheduled that comes through your email, or an event comes up, what's happening on campus, professors communicate with you that way about different things that might be happening. If class is canceled, you don't want to show up to a sign on the door, you want to stay in your bed. So checking your email is a great way to know when things are changing too.
For sure. The biggest thing I noticed, kind of the difference between high school and college, is the classes. So in college, you're going to be in class, physically in class for less time per week, but you are also going to have to work outside of class on homework or projects. So definitely, like Rachel said, making sure that you get like a planner to write everything down, make sure you don't miss those due dates. I also have our online learning system, D2L, like text me whenever there's a deadline coming up or an assignment posted. So just making sure that you can stay on top of everything.
Hold on, wait a minute. It texts you?
It does.
Yes.
I didn't even know how cool that is. That's so you're. I mean, that's the best way to communicate with, from an old person to young people. Like, the best way is text. Okay, that's awesome. How cool is that? Okay, so that actually makes me think about, how do you find out what's like if you're looking for cool stuff that's happening on campus? What's the first place that you go to look?
Instagram.
Instagram, I love
We
it.
also have a daily student email, which
Yes.
I know not a lot of people read it, but I read it. And that's how I know that they give out free stuff at basketball games. So
Yeah.
There you go.
And
Nice.
Cab's Instagram, that's Kennesaw Activity Board. They have different student activities, like fun things, go stuff an owl, go play board games, trivia night, painting nights, things like that. And so they're always posting information. I think people just post information on Instagram, so that's why it's a good place to go.
But yeah,
Perfect.
find things out.
CAB is for the Kennesaw campus, but there's also one for Marietta called MAC, the Marietta Activities Council. So definitely follow them both, because you can go to both campuses.
Yes.
Love it. Cab and Mac. There you go. Yeah, you never know. I mean, there definitely is some different things we're doing on the Marietta campus than the Kennesaw campus, and the cool activities you can go and get involved in. Awesome. Thank y'all. We've got another question.
We do. This is going to be a two-part question. Jordan, if you can elaborate about what you know about orientation for this summer. And then
sure.
Rachel and Kara, if you can tell us how you got prepared for orientation. Did you do advising at orientation? How you chose your classes? Any of your experience?
So is this for, let me ask this question, is this for summer orientation for summer 2020, or orientations that happen over the summer for fall 2020?
For fall 2020.
So this is orientations that will exist in the summer for fall 2020. Okay, great question. So as you would hope, admissions, the people that I represent, work very closely with the people in orientation. We have an awesome orientation office, the Office of New Student Orientation, and they may be on here at some point answering questions as well, so watch out for that. But we're in close communication with each other, each office, and we're constantly talking about this current situation that we live in and exist in, right? And admissions, our goal, after getting you through the application process and helping you figure out is Kennesaw the right place for you, is to have a seamless handoff to orientation so that you transition quickly and easily over to orientation, and they're the first people here at the institution that are really going to help you get plugged in and learn the Kennesaw way, and get just everything you need to know about Owl Nation. And then one of the big things that happens at orientation is registering for classes. So let me answer your question directly and say, we don't know yet what is happening with the summer orientations for fall 2020. So the sessions that we'll have for new students coming in, whether they be first year students or for transfer students, or international students, we don't know yet what is happening. And I mean, we're at a point where I know people want answers, but no one has a crystal ball to be able to tell what is going to happen even a couple weeks from now. with this absolutely unprecedented time that we find ourselves in. I've shared this on, I can't, all of my live sessions now run together. So whether it was a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, I really can't remember. I think it was Instagram Live. But I was in college, I was a freshman during 9/11. And when that happened the first semester of my freshman year, we were shocked, of course, and I had quite a few classmates of mine that left school to enlist in the military. It was a time where didn't quite know what was going to happen in the nation and outside of the nation in the world. But this time is even different than that time, right? What COVID-19 has done is absolutely grinded to a halt the entire world. Now, nothing really grinds to a halt, let's be honest. But it has completely changed the way everyone is operating, no matter the industry. So whether you're ramping up production and you work in the toilet paper industry, or you're a consumer like me trying to find it, which we found it at Costco yesterday, and I actually carried it like it was Simba, and it was like Ma, walking around because I was that excited that we found a giant pack of toilet paper. So thank you, Kennesaw, Costco. But I know this is a long-winded answer, but I want people to really think about, we're planning for things, and our new student orientation office is going to do some advanced technological things for our students that are coming for summer. And so if you're coming for summer and you had signed up for orientation, you're already getting emails about summer, about those students that wanted to start summer 2020. But we're not quite there yet for fall. So I want y'all to hang tight. Great question, though. And just watch what we're doing through, as you found out from these two lovely ladies. You're going to see things on Instagram first, most likely, but really, we're going to communicate with you via email. We're going to communicate with you on our website. We're going to talk about things in this kind of format. Next time you see me, it may be from my closet office that I have at home, so get ready. It's really cool. You'll get to see it. But we're going to bring this information to you. We just want you to trust us and trust that we are doing our absolute best with your interest in mind, to be able to make sure, one, that you're safe and healthy, and that we have an environment that is safe and healthy for everyone to participate, and then also that we're going to do the right thing to make sure that you're able to transition to the institution, and whether that's going to be virtually or we're going to be back in an environment where you can come in person and participate. But we realize too that this is again quite the unprecedented time. And you're going through experiences right now, whether you're a senior in high school and your world has been rocked and your prom was canceled, and spring activities and spring athletics were canceled, and your commencement is either being postponed or canceled. And these are big life things, and our students are dealing with that as well. Our current seniors here are dealing with pretty much the same thing, but on the college level. So we're all just trying to figure this out together, and I promise you we're going to do our absolute best to take care of you and help you still meet some of these milestones in your life, and that would be transitioning to college and starting your college career. But I tell you, we're going to have some incredible stories at the end of all of this, and so many of us will not forget this time in our lives of what was going on during COVID-19. Anything y'all want to add?
Well,
I can't even remember Meredith's second part of the question.
With orientation,
but
I did go to advising for orientation. So I graduated from high school in Virginia in the middle of June. So I had a very quick transition time from high school to college. So I moved back here and then went straight to orientation, it feels like. But I felt a little bit chaotic, and so I like to plan ahead. So I did meet with an advisor at our new student advising, who are very awesome. They helped keep me on track when I changed my major. They helped me when I started, because I didn't know what I wanted to major in, so I wanted to make sure before I went to orientation I had an idea of what I wanted to register before I went there, just because I like to plan ahead. But you don't have to meet with an advisor before orientation. When you go to orientation, typically they do break you into groups based off of your interests, so you will meet with academic advisors from your area of interest, and there are people there to help you register. If you need to be handheld, they're going to be there to do that. But I did meet with an advisor, and it was helpful for me.
When I did orientation, mine was a little bit different because I did do the dual enrollment orientation back when I first started. So I met with an advisor before orientation, but that was because I also registered for classes before orientation as a dual enrollment student. And then once I got to orientation, it was more of kind of getting to know other dual enrollment students. They were the only people there. So I knew people who were going through the same thing as me, and they were also kind of nervous about being with college kids as a high school student. But just kind of getting a feel of the campus, knowing my way around was kind of what my orientation was based upon.
So let's think back to when you both were in high school. Of course, Kara's got a little bit of a different experience because she was spending a lot of time at Kennesaw State as a dual enrollment student. But think back to when you were in high school and you were dreaming of college, right? You could not wait to be grown up, leave whatever house you were in some fashion, even if it's just for a few hours in the middle of the day to drive yourself to school and then drive back home. What is some advice you do have for students outside of orientation to transition well to college, to set them up for success?
I just kind of like based on your schedule, kind of make sure that your classes are as together as they can get, but not back to back. My first semester, every other day I had about an hour gap, and then every other day my classes were back to back. So I definitely enjoyed having that hour to sit on a bench outside if it was nice, or find a couch inside, and just kind of watch people walk by, meet up with some friends, and make sure that I had time to eat. Just kind of making sure that you're able to manage your time as best as you can.
I think something that helps with the transition once school starts is just to do something, join one thing. At Kennesaw, we have over 300 student organizations, so there's a large variety. We have a lot of students, a lot of diverse backgrounds and different things that you can do. So join the marching band, join a student ministry, join Greek life, go to a Zumba class at the rec center. There's so many different things you can do. So it might be kind of scary to step out of your room and go and try something new, especially if you don't know anybody, but you just have to do it. And once you do, it'll be addicting and you'll find too many things to do. You'll have to start picking, but that's a really great way to help you feel comfortable on campus.
I know, Rachel, you were talking the other day about your Zumba class, and that
Yes.
was just kind of like a funny thing you did, but then you've met like all of your best friends and your roommate through that process. So I thought that was incredible advice, because I'm a pretty cautious, I know it may not seem like it, but I'm a pretty cautious person when it comes to some of that kind of stuff. And I think that's incredible advice to say, step out of your comfort zone, do something different, right? And that's one thing that I love about when I talk to, especially honors college students, we're going to talk about honors here in a second, is I talk about this is really your time when you're transitioning to college, that you get to have a blank slate. This is the last blank slate you're ever going to get in your life. And that's true, really, because college will follow you everywhere, as y'all are ending the time in your college careers, and now it's time to start looking for jobs and all those kinds of things that are on the horizon. But when you get to start with this blank slate again, you get to really get involved in the things that are meaningful to you, that you're passionate about. You don't just do them for your college applications, or because your parents told you had to do this club or whatever because they did that club or whatever, or their friend in the neighborhood said, this is the way you're going to get into XYZ college, you do this, So that's one thing I love about, you come to a place like Kennesaw State that has over 300 clubs and organizations, cool things to get involved in, like the Marching Owls, and you get to really, really step out of your comfort zone and maybe find something that you would have loved all along. You just hadn't had that opportunity yet.
For sure.
So I think that's awesome. I think we have a question.
We do. Well, one of them is, how do you tell Kennesaw that you are coming in the fall?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's an easy question, and I have the answer. So if you are ready to commit to Kennesaw State University, the number one thing you need to do is sign up for new student orientation. Number one. That is our commitment. So we don't have an enrollment deposit. You'll hear that kind of language with other universities where they want you to pay $300 or $400 or some crazy amount of dollars, right, to commit to seal your spot, right? We just ask that you sign up for new student orientation. that is essentially your enrollment deposit to Kennesaw State. New student orientation is required for first-year students, so you're transitioning to the institution. And whether we're going to be doing those things in person or we're going to be doing them virtually, this is going to be your way to transition to Kennesaw State University. And that's where you're going to find out about all these cool things that these ladies are talking about, as well as you're going to register for classes. So recommendation, you're ready to commit, sign up for the earliest possible orientation that you can find. So orientations are set by campus. So if you're going to major in something like Kara's majoring in software engineering, you'll do orientation down on the Marietta campus. If you're going to major in something like Rachel's majoring in, you're going to do public relations here on the Kennesaw campus. So just when you actually log into Owl Express, which is our student portal for you, these ladies use Owl Express all the time here at KSU. That's where you do everything KSU related. So look at your financial aid package, your scholarship award, be able to register for classes. So all of that is done through Owl Express, and that also you sign up for orientation through Owl Express. So check that out, but sign up for orientation, number one way to commit to the university. You can get there by going to orientation.kennesaw.edu. We'll make sure to have that link posted there in Facebook, orientation.kennesaw.edu. You can also get there by going to the next steps portion of the admissions website. So admissions.kennesaw.edu, click on admitted students, and you're going to see next steps, and it's going to detail out all the things that you need to do to commit to KSU. Another thing I would recommend is you sign up for housing. So if you're ready to live on campus, you know you want to get a place to live on campus, sign up for housing as well. That's the other thing you're going to really want to do.
Great. We've had quite a few honors questions. So anything from how do you apply, can you apply your second year, and the benefits of honors?
Yeah, all right. So for honors, you can apply starting your first year. You can also apply either your second year, or if you transfer in, you can also apply. But so if you're applying as an incoming freshman, you're going to apply to the university, and once you get accepted, they're going to send your information over to honors, and then honors will send you an invitation to apply. There's also a link on their website if you want to just go there and apply before that invitation, kind of get your head in or be on the ball, get ready for that. But so the application, it's going to be some personal information, a few essays. They're not super hard, so don't let that kind of scare you from applying. If you apply starting your second year, or you transfer in, you're going to use kind of your college GPA and all of that information. And then if you apply as an incoming freshman coming from high school, you're going to use your high school GPA and SAT scores. Once you're in, the way it kind of works is we have what we call honors learning experiences. So if you're coming in as a freshman, you'll complete 8 of them, and that'll put you on track to be an honors scholar or an honors research scholar, depending on if you want to do a capstone project at the end of your time. If you're coming in as a transfer student or applying sometime other than your first year, you would complete 6 of those honors learning experiences, and that one does include a capstone as an optional experience as well. But so these honors learning experiences are going to be either taking like an honors class or an honors version of a general education class, or making one of your major specific classes into an honors contract, kind of adding an extra project. Honors also has specific study abroads or internships available if you become a teaching assistant or a supplemental instructor for a class that you're in. That can also count as one of those experiences. So it's definitely not a prescribed curriculum like a lot of other universities have. It's going to be more tailored so that you can it doesn't make you stay here longer. You're able to get that honors designation at graduation without extending your time here.
Bingo.
We have a band question.
Oh, you all so excited?
We want to know, how do freshmen apply to be in the band? How do tryouts work? All of the ins and outs.
Yeah, so the Marching Owls application comes out on our website through Kennesaw's website on June 1st every year. So you can go ahead now and fill out an interest form, or wait till June 1st and download the application. It's going to send you 2 simple etudes if you guys are from Georgia. Nothing too crazy like all state auditions would be. Just 2 simple things to show us that you can play your instrument. You'll either come here in August or virtually towards the beginning of the month and play for our directors those etudes, and then that concludes the audition process. So pretty simple and straightforward. And then if you're a freshman living on campus, band camp is the week before classes start. So whenever classes start, the full week before that is our band camp. So if you're living on campus, you'll move in a week early. A bunch of band people, I'll be there to help you guys move in. And then that week we'll work on the pregame show. You'll get to know your section, do a lot of different bonding activities, and then classes start. So it's a pretty easy process to become a part of it. The section leaders are always available. They'll probably reach out to you before band camp. So if you have any questions, they're a great resource to get to know, get acclimated before camp even starts as well.
Yeah, before my first season as a marching owl, I played trumpet as well as Rachel. So the section leaders from the trumpet section kind of reached out to everyone saying that they were having like a little get together, kind of get to know each other. And Rachel was one of the section leaders, so she was the first person I ever met starting my official freshman year of college. And that definitely made me more comfortable to try out. I was super nervous going into auditions. I almost didn't show up that day because that was scary, and I don't audition well, but I am super glad that I decided to stick with it so that I was able to meet Rachel as well as a lot of our other trumpet players and marching owls. It's definitely been best thing ever.
So join the trumpet section.
Yeah, hopefully you play trumpet before now, but yeah. Matter of fact, I actually asked these wonderful people to play us a little ditty, so they're going to pick up their trumpets and play here in a minute. I'm just kidding. It would blow the microphones out. That wouldn't be good. This is a totally random question, okay? What's the favorite piece you've marched? And maybe it's a whole show, but what's your favorite piece? I don't want to make it too easy on you and just say show, but if you're having trouble with the favorite piece, then go to show that you've marched in your time at KSU.
Right. My favorite piece was from this past season. It was our very first show. The very first song we played, it was the Friends theme song. That show was just like a binge-worthy show. So we had Friends, Big Bang Theory, That 70s Show, The Office, and Game of Thrones. That entire show is fantastic. A lot of visuals, which I didn't get to do a lot of before this season. So I was really excited for it.
That's cool.
My favorite thing to play in March is actually the pregame show. So before each game starts, we do a marching routine. So we play the fight song and a bunch of our different KSU pieces and get to run around the field. It's very high energy. So pregame is my favorite thing to march.
That's cool. What's the time commitment like for marching band? In between your studies and you're both tour guides, so you're working being tour guides. Yeah. And by the way, our tour guides make money, so that could be great. So if you think these two individuals are awesome, come here to KSU. You want to be a part of a really cool team. You could be a tour guide on the Kennesaw campus or the Marietta campus. So what's the time commitment like in your week to weeks?
Yeah. So I was actually really surprised to learn that marching band in college did not take up as much time as marching band in high school. So here we practice 2 to 3 times a week for 2 hours each time. And then on game days, you'll come in 6 hours before the game. You'll have another 2-hour practice. And then we do something called Owl Walk when the football team comes in on the buses to go to the field. And then we go in, march pregame, stay for the whole game. So on Saturdays, they can be kind of long, but they definitely go by really fast because they're so much fun. But practices, like I said, 2 to 3 times a week, so it is a lot more fast-paced than what I was used to in high school because you are learning a different show for every game. So you're not focusing on one show and making it competition ready. You're there to kind of help the team feel more, I guess, pumped up, excited, but yeah.
I have a hard time thinking about learning a new show every week and how y'all work that out with class and all the other things you're involved in. So, but that's awesome. Props to y'all.
Can you expand on color guard?
Yeah, so color guard auditions as well as our drumline auditions do happen a little bit earlier than brass and woodwind auditions. So they're going to happen, they're usually in March or April. They are currently doing like virtual auditions because we aren't on campus currently. But for color guard auditions, you are taught a routine and then you perform it, and then The color guard does have the same rehearsal schedule as the band, except they do have an extra hour-long rehearsal after one of our practices to kind of work on those routines because they are a little bit more intense than walking around with an instrument.
Nice. Good.
Rachel, can you expand on what a brand ambassador is and how you become one?
Ooh.
Sure. So our brand ambassador program is for mainly first-year students. It's focused on social media on Instagram. So it's through our enrollment services marketing, and it's students who help us promote awesome things that students can do at the university from a student perspective. So you'll see them doing things like Instagram takeovers, or the KSU admissions page sharing their posts about them going to classes at the rec center or living there day by day, so that prospective students or people like you guys watching the live stream can see what it's like to be a student here. As far as becoming a brand ambassador, if you are active on social media, if you want to message the KSU admissions page, let them know that you're interested. We'll keep track of everyone who expressed interest, and then stay tuned in the fall for how the application process is going to look.
Great. We have one more question at the moment. Jordan, you kind of talked about this, jobs on campus. So can y'all tell us about the jobs that you have on campus versus off campus, the benefits, how to apply for jobs?
So for jobs on campus, we actually have a website called Handshake that's run through our Department of Career Planning and Development. So they can help you find jobs on campus as well as off-campus jobs and internships. But so being a tour guide is a job, so we applied through Handshake, had to go through an interview process and all of that good stuff. But
yeah, and if you ever needed help applying, say you've never applied to a job before or anything, the Career Planning and Development, they will work with you on your resumes, cover letters. They have career and internship fairs throughout the year even that you can go to and see who's hiring on campus in the community. To address the point of the question of benefits to working on campus, I always tell people that the greatest thing about working on campus is that it's really easy to work around your schedule. All of my bosses, they tell you day one, we know that you're here to be a student, you're a student first, so we're gonna work with you to help you be able to work but still be successful at school. So our schedules do change every semester. It's not set like it is in high school. So the way it works for us is we register for classes, we give our bosses our class schedule, and then they give us our work schedule around that. So it's really easy to balance the two by working on campus.
Have either of y'all had any other jobs on campus other than being tour guides?
My internship is actually on campus. I applied through Handshake, just like Kara mentioned, for my job and my internship. So I do a lot of work with enrollment services, marketing, which is really fun to get to work, internship, and be a student on campus. I feel like I've really had the Kennesaw experience as much as I can. So it's really helped me build passions in all three of those areas by being on campus.
I applied for some other jobs on campus, but I got an offer for a tour guide position, and I said that was the one for me.
It's the best. It's the best.
It is the best.
Yeah. I mean, you're at the top of the heap. Why would you pick anything below? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, all of our campus partners. We won. Any other questions right now? Sweet. Nope. Okay, cool. So there's a couple of things that we all need, right, to live healthy, happy, content lives. We need shelter. We need food. You'd probably argue we need money because of the way the world turns. But so let's talk about a couple of those basic needs of life, right? And I want to know, when you go to the Commons or Stingers, where's the first place you go? When you go through the door, your mind, where is it going more often than any other, station or section or whatnot?
Ooh.
Where's the number one place?
So my number one place in both locations is going to be that kind of home cook station. So in Stingers, that's down home, and in Commons, that's called apron strings. So both of those, the meals change every day for breakfast or for lunch and dinner. So there's always a lot of different options, and they're fantastic food. So Thursday, that's where the fried chicken is on Fried Chicken Thursday, and it's phenomenal. The mac and cheese is to die for.
That's a hard question because I love eating and food, and everything in the Commons and Stingers are all really, really good. But I think the coffee bar is one of my favorite places. In the Commons, we have a coffee bar. So instead of using all of your meal plan or money at Starbucks, you can go to the Commons, get your lattes, cappuccinos, all of it at our coffee bar. So it's called the Daily Grind. So yeah.
Nice.
On Marietta, it's called Cool Beans. Fun fact.
Cool beans?
And the coffee's supplied by
Cool beans,
a
right?
KSU grad, so it's really cool. At Cool Beans.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a little thing. He'll tell you all about it. It's really neat.
There you go.
Roasted local, so we're super local, and that's a big thing you
Perfect.
get with the Commons or Stingers as well. Is we're very farm to table in our approach.
Yeah.
Vast majority of our food is either coming locally or from things that we're either even doing here on both of our campuses, and so yeah, very fresh, very good food. Awesome. Thank y'all for sharing those little fun facts about where we can find y'all going first in the Commons or Stingers.
Okay, Jordan, can you talk about the application process both for seniors 2020 and then will be seniors for 2021?
Sure.
And how long does it take to get a decision after you turn what needed documents in?
Yeah, right. Okay. So let's start with fall 2020 because that's our most, summer 2020 and fall 2020. But the majority of seniors in high school are applying for fall 2020. The application process is straightforward. It should not take you more than 30 minutes to fill out the online application. So you do that at admissions.kennesaw.edu. There's an apply to KSU button. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. Go to the application. Our application is housed within Georgia Futures. So if you're an in-state student in the state of Georgia, you may be accustomed to going to gafutures.org. That's the Georgia Futures site. Not only houses college applications, but it also has Hope and Zell Miller, so you can actually fill out the Hope application there. Tells you a lot of other tidbits about college prep and financial things that you need to know for college. And then if you're a dual enrollment student, you've used that site to do a number of dual enrollment things. But you're going to fill out our online application, again, no more than 30 minutes. And then we need your high school transcript. That has to be sent to us. Right now, we're being really flexible with students. So I do want to take a moment to say, again, we understand the situation that we're all living within right now. And pretty much everybody that you've interacted with at high school, they're working from home. And you're interacting with them in different ways. So follow the steps that your high school counselors have given you. Do the things that they say that they need from you if you need to request a high school transcript. It may be that your process hasn't changed because a lot of high schools moved to online requests within the last few years, so you can just go in and make your request online, and then your high school is going to do, your high school counselor is going to do the things that they need to do behind the scenes, but we have to get your high school transcript. So we're working and we're receiving those electronically, and all of that is still working as should. If you're having difficulty, then your high school counselor can reach out to your admissions counselor here at KSU, or they're more than welcome to reach out to me as well. And we will take your transcript that way from the high school counselor. So the high school counselor can have a PDF of your high school transcript sent from their email address to us. It has to be from the high school counselor directly to one of us in admissions at KSU. And we could accept it officially that way as well because of this wild time that we're in with COVID-19. If you've done something like Kara did and you did dual enrollment while you're in high school and you have completed grades, so you didn't just start dual enrollment here in the spring, which, wow, what a time, right? So some of you may be in that case and trying to do college classes for the first time during COVID-19. But so if you did not just start this fall, or this spring, you started last fall or before that, you have completed grades from dual enrollment. You need to have your dual enrollment transcript sent to us as well. So there's really three things you need to do. It's apply online, high school transcript, dual enrollment transcript, and that's if you have it, okay? And that's for fall 2020. We do not need to see SAT or ACT scores. You're more than welcome to send them if you have them, but we are not using SAT or ACT scores for summer 2020 or fall 2020 admissions for first-year students or for transfer freshmen. So if you're in one of those categories and you're applying to KSU, we do not need to see your test scores right now. Just because of all of the cancellations that happened in the spring, I think only one test actually happened here in the spring out of all of the different testing dates. So we have removed that requirement for summer 2020 and fall 2020. If you're a junior in high school right now and you're looking forward to fall 2021, then you're going to apply as normal, and we have our normal requirements, and that's going to be high school transcript, test scores, SAT, ACTs, and then if you have dual enrollment credit, we need to see the dual enrollment credit as well. But that process will be normal. This is simply a temporary process for right now.
Can you send your transcript before you graduate from high school?
Absolutely. So question was, can you send your transcript before you graduate high school? You absolutely can, and you absolutely must. We have to see the transcript from high school. That is the thing that we're going to use to determine your admissibility to Kennesaw State University. So when we're looking at a high school transcript, we're looking for at least 17 required college preparatory curriculum classes. The CPC is what we commonly refer to it in our world. These are college prep classes that the University System of Georgia has determined are necessary for admission to an institution like Kennesaw State. And then also the Georgia Department of Education is aware of these requirements. So when you're in high school and you're on the college prep track, you're going to meet these requirements. So we have to see at least 17 required high school classes for the college preparatory curriculum, and you have to have at least a 2.5 academic GPA. What happens when Kennesaw State gets your transcript? Let's say you're from Walton High School. That's where I went to school in Cobb County. We get to a Walton High School transcript in. We're only going to look at the 5 core academic subjects. That's math, science, social science, foreign language, and English. Those are the 5 core subject areas. Then we're going to look at each grade you got in each class, or each grade you earned, how about I say it that way, in each class that's within those 5 core subject areas. And we're going to build you a KSU admissions GPA. That GPA is taking those grades directly off of your transcript. We don't add weight, we don't subtract weight. So if you've taken higher rigor courses like AP and honors and IB classes and things like that, we're not adding weight and we're not subtracting weight. We're taking the actual grade that appears on your transcript and calculating it into a 4.0 scale here at KSU. So the minimum GPA to be admitted to KSU for summer 2020 and fall 2020 is a 2.5 academic GPA. The minimum GPA to be admitted for fall 2021 is a 2.5 academic GPA. So keep those things in mind. All of this is on our website, and we're being very, very quick with updates to the website as we get new information and as things have changed rapidly with COVID-19. You've seen all of those memes out there with March 1, here's somebody that looks super put together. March 31st, they look like they've aged, 40 years. Yeah, we're living in that same world. It's shocking. So I need to get some pictures like that of me. I need to find a really good one though for March 1st. It'll take me a little while, but March 31st, easy to come by. So here we find ourselves in April, and the world's still turning, and we're still here, and we want to help you transition to college. So just let us know what we can do.
Perfect. Okay, what sports, clubs, and activities do we do on the weekends?
Ooh, I like this proverbial we.
Sure.
We do.
So I can talk about sports a little bit. So we do, for our D1 teams, we have 18 NCAA D1 teams. So 18, now that we have football, we're going into year 6, so that's crazy. So if you are interested in recruitment or coach contact information for those teams, KSUOwls.com is our athletic page, has all that good stuff there. We also have club sports that you can try out for. That's through our Department of Sports and Recreation. And so you would still try out for those teams. You'll still travel and compete with club teams throughout the Southeast area, just not quite as restrictive as being a D1 athlete. And then we have intramural sports. That's a great way to be involved. I do band, so I don't really have the space for intramurals, but if you want to learn something new, or if there's something, if you played soccer your whole life and don't want to quite give it up, but you're majoring in chemistry, intramurals is a great way to weave that into your time. You'll form teams at the beginning of each semester with other KSU students, and then have games throughout the semester against other KSU students, all within our facilities on campus. So if you want to be involved with athletics, those are all really great ways to do that.
Yeah. Some other things that we have going on the weekends, we have our Division of Student Affairs. They put on a lot of events. So we have our KSU Day of Service every year. So that's going to be a Saturday that we have in our spring semester typically that you're able to go in, and then there's a wide variety of service projects you're able to do within the community and at KSU. And then there's also a lot of clubs that'll put on activities. We also have our Homeless Awareness Week in the fall, where the end of that week there's a like a camp out kind of thing where you're simulating what might happen if you were to become homeless, to become aware of what those people are going through and how you can help. So you could set up a tent, sleep in your car. We turn our student centers into kind of like mock shelters. So definitely a lot to do to stay involved around campus.
Oh, and on the weekends, go to the games. All the KSU students, part of our student fees is your admission to games. So you show up with your ID card, you can go to football, basketball, go support your team. So if you're not an athlete or you're not in the band, going and cheering them on is also something really fun to do.
And I recommend you go and watch sports that you don't normally watch. So keeping with what Rachel was talking about earlier about like getting involved or doing something that you would maybe have never tried before. So maybe it's go watch tennis play, or go check out a softball game. Or maybe you absolutely hate football. You should go to a football game, and then you can watch and hear the marching owls. So you don't even have to pay attention to football. You just turn your head and watch the marching owls. So do those kinds of different things to show your owl spirit, your KSU pride, right? And who knows? Maybe you'll meet somebody special there. I don't know. I went to a couple of sporting events. Yeah, that's right. Yes, something like that. Yeah, some platonic relationship. Okay, so yeah, I went to quite a few sporting events just to see some of the ladies that were there.
We had a great question that just came in. What is the best thing about Kennesaw State University?
That's nice. Wow.
There are just so many
Very
things.
existential, big question.
There's so many great things.
There are.
I think general, the first thing that comes to mind is the diversity here, and that's in a lot of things. In our student population, we have lots of students from different backgrounds, different cultures, lots of different things to do, different activities, different types of clubs, from like fun, sports, academics, majors. You can be software engineering, you can be communication. So there's a lot of variety and a lot of diversity.
Yeah. From a STEM standpoint on the Marietta campus, our curriculum here is just very hands-on. So we have a ton of different labs for all of our STEM majors. That's what I can speak to mostly. But so we have all of these industry grade labs with all of these equipment that you could actually find in your career when you graduate. So you're definitely getting that experience working with it, so that makes you more marketable to employers. So it's just a great opportunity to be your best self in whatever field you decide to go in.
I've got a question, and it's kind of keeping with this big existential theme, right? But it's more about each of you. So you came to college probably under this assumption that you had to, right? I need to go to college so I can get a degree in something that's marketable, applicable, whatever word you want to use, and be able to support myself for the rest of life. What is something that you learned about yourself in college? This could be last week. This could have been 2-3 years ago. What's something that you learned about yourself that you were maybe surprised by or didn't know you were capable of?
I'd say that I've definitely learned that I can be much more independent than I thought I could be. When I was in high school and middle school, I was involved in clubs and I had a lot of choices that I made for what I was involved in. But when I came to college, I lived on campus, I joined all of these clubs, and I really found that I'm able to be who I want to be, and I'm able to do it really easily.
I think I learned that sometimes sleeping in is not the best thing. Especially even during now with COVID-19 and in-person classes being canceled, it's quick to be like, I'm not a morning person, but I think I am a morning person. I feel like if you feel overwhelmed with schoolwork or stress, like sometimes just getting up and starting your day can help the rest of your day be so much more successful. And I didn't know that about myself before, because in high school, like, you have to get up early every day or you're not going to make the bus to go to school. But in college, if your classes don't start till noon and you live on campus, you don't have to get up till 11:30. But I think that I learned that having a schedule is something that I need. Yeah.
So what I heard from both of you is that Kara's proud of herself for her ability to be independent, and I think that that's awesome, because you're going to need that, right, through the rest of your life, right? And then that even feeds into what Rachel was talking about it's most of the battle, and I've had this conversation with my 21-year-old many times over life, is 95% of how well you do at something is just showing up. It's taking a step forward. And I think a lot of it is because that's my own advice to myself, you know? Yeah. So it's much to my wife's chagrin, she turned out a lot like me and not as much like her. So she needs a little motivation every once in a while, and maybe that's a little, you know, push for her own independence and to trust herself. So I think that's awesome. You know, I totally threw y'all a curveball with that question, but that's something so special about college. Is I talk about college being this time where there's nothing else that will transition you into the real world or life or mature you like college, right? There's other things that will mature you quickly, becoming a parent, other big life transitions, going into the military and serving abroad, right? Tragic events like what we're going through right now will mature you and change you. College is this organized, mostly planned out, scheduled thing that for in the American system, for 4 years plus of your life, you're in this system, and we're here with you, and you have some planned things that you have to do that push you down this path, right? And if you're doing them well, you're learning things like independence, and you're learning things like, I just need to show up. Sometimes I need to get, I know, aren't you loving that you picked that? I just need to actually wake up and get out of the bed. But you know, this is cool stuff, right? That helps you with the rest of your life, right? And so I think it's awesome that we're talking to people out there in Facebook land about these kinds of things, especially now during this time, because we will get through this, and we will come out on the other side. And I think a lot of us are learning through what we're doing with our lives here during COVID-19 of how to be kinder people to each other, how to be better people, and how to still be successful with whatever we're trying to do. So this is great advice. Okay. So we're getting near the end of our time here with these awesome people out in Facebook land. And looking back, you're both now upper class people, right? And what's a piece of advice you would share that you haven't already shared with students that are out there, or maybe it's even a piece of advice with parents because of your relationship with your family, that you would say, hey, yeah, maybe don't do this, or maybe I wanted more of this, you know? What's something you'd like to leave Facebook land with?
My biggest advice is to ask questions if you have them. It's really easy to be scared to pick up the phone and call admissions or ask your professor something if you're confused, but it's okay to ask questions, and there's tons of people here, especially at Kennesaw, to help you with anything you need. So if you ever think you need anything, don't be scared to ask a question.
I'd say, so we've talked a lot about getting involved on campus, and I definitely think that's very important, but just kind of doing different things and finding something that you love. So don't be afraid to try something, and if you hate it, don't ever do it again. Or if you love it so much, you could go as far as changing your major. Because I took a mechanical engineering programming for engineering class, I learned that I loved programming, which kind of made me not do a 180, but change my career path, which is okay. So definitely don't be afraid to change your plans and kind of roll with the punches.
That's really cool. What's maybe your best memory from being a tour guide so far?
I love the open houses. I like getting to see thousands of people come and just get to say hi to greet people for 2 hours is actually really fun because you just get to be like, welcome to my home. I hope that one day it can be your home too. So open houses have been fun.
That's really cool.
I love giving tours on the Marietta campus, especially because we're able to go in all these buildings, see all of these labs, and I just love seeing students and parents' faces just light up at all of the labs that they can be a part of and all of the teams and clubs that they can do while they're here.
That's awesome. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here with us today, live in Facebook land. If you have more questions, please post them there on Facebook, and we will get to your questions and answer them. I'm sorry if we didn't answer your question live. Again, we'll be in there and answer your questions here after the show. Special thanks, round of applause for Rachel and for Kara for being here with us and spending time socially distanced from each other, but not in our hearts, right? In our hearts, we're all right close to each other as true owls and owlettes, yes. So thank you for spending time with us. Couple of big things. Go to admissions.kennesaw.edu. Any updates we have, we're going to be there on the site. We have a lot of Facebook Lives planned for the future, so watch out for those. Other ways to connect. I'm going to be on Instagram Live tomorrow afternoon. I think I start at 3:30, so you can jump in there and ask me questions and watch me scramble because I'm like it's different format. I'm holding a phone and like talking, to you while you're asking these questions. So hit me up on there if you have any other questions. But we are here working for you. If you have an email that you need to send us because you got a big question and you don't want to ask it on Facebook Live, you can email KSUadmit, KSUADMIT at kennesaw.edu, and we'll make sure that it gets to the right person and get your questions answered. Please make sure you're checking your status during this time. We're turning around decisions really quickly, so if you apply, we're able to process students really fast right now, whether it's summer or fall. We would love to have you here for summer, love to have you here for fall. So just watch out for that, and thanks so much. We always close with Owl Eyes, so are y'all ready? And a hooty hoo,
Yes.
right?
Ready.
Okay, ready? Hooty hoo!